everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cold Weather Grows. Make sure that you like and subscribe to get more content and help me provide better information for you. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to do some more gardening. Instead of working on the greenhouse, we've got to get some of this planted out because it's getting near that time. So what we're going to do, a couple of plans. We're going to spike this in the ground because I'm already noticing that there's some weed cover coming over, and I don't want that getting into that new bed. We're not going to plant into that new bed just quite yet. It's not actually ready, but it will be pretty soon, I think. In the next week or so, I'll probably be planting a bit more. We also don't have all the plants we want to plant out, but we will probably be getting those seeds in the next week or so, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. What we'll also be doing is, so we're going to be planting out a few different types of seeds, some lettuce, some kale. There's a new trellis I want to put up. There's also a tomato plant that we just got from Costco. A little bit iffy on that one, just in the fact that it's not necessarily super accurate, but I'll be showing you that. So anyway, I'm going to get to it. So we just had a rainstorm last night. The ground is pretty nice and wet, so that's kind of going to make things a little bit easier. As you can see, sorry, as you can see, this is actually a nice plant, but you know, I was looking at it because it said beefsteak, and that was fine. I was just kind of looking at the planting depth and everything because we're going to plant it in the pot. Then I noticed that it said on the label that this is a determinate plant, which, if it's a beefsteak, that's an indeterminate plant. If it's not a beefsteak, well, then I guess we'll have a determinate size, which is unfortunate because we did want a beefsteak, but that's okay. We'll just see how it goes. Basically, the reason I was looking for the planting depth is that we want to plant it a bit deeper because essentially, and you can even see probably some of the roots there, all along the stem, it can actually produce roots, which is pretty nice for if you want to be growing some really healthy tomatoes and some stronger tomatoes. Sorry, I moved the camera there a bit. Yeah, and we've got this nice tire planter that we had recycled because we couldn't use the planter and we figured we wouldn't be able to sell it. So we're gonna dig the hole quite a bit deep there, and then we're just gonna trim off some of the branches for this plant. So yeah, I'm just gonna put you guys over here so that you can kind of watch me do that. I'm sure you guys did notice that there was a little bit of weeds in there. I can't really do anything about that. It's the beginning of summer, but we are gonna dig this hole deep, so you know. Oh, I did forget. I do actually want to move this tire planter a little bit over. We don't want to be having the plant bumped when the gate comes, if we need it to come out a little bit. So okay, right there. I'll just place this here for now on the new. So the unfortunate thing about this area a little bit is that it does actually have quite a bit of hard clay in the actual lawn soil, because it didn't actually ever need to be planted into, or at least in a while. So that's kind of something we've been struggling this whole property on, but we're gonna add in some new soil, and we're gonna make sure that it's nice and well, or we've given it lots of nutrients and whatnot. All right. It smells really nice. These clips are on here pretty good. There we go. I'm gonna want to take a bunch of branches off just because I don't need it to be producing nutrients to all these branches when I'm supposed to be getting it to grow roots in certain areas. And we don't want it rotting and causing problems to the plants like blight and all those fun British terms. But Calvin, aren't you from Canada? Don't you use those British terms? Meh. It's kind of... We are a colony, but we're not kind of... We don't play by the rules. I am so sorry. What should we name you? We're gonna name you... Estaban. Yeah, I like that name. Man, I am so sorry, Estaban. Oh, there we go. Yep. Nice. Alright. Yeah. Alright, Estaban. So, the cool thing about tomatoes is they're a vining plant. Essentially, the indeterminate ones want to grow as tall as you can let them. Oh my gosh, this guy is gonna... See, I don't want to wreck the plant itself, but I also don't want to keep it in the pot forever, you know? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Esteban. Okay. I don't think it was bent too bad. A little bit bent, but not so much so that it can't be salvaged. We're probably going to bury it up to here, I think. Just kind of up to the tire line. That means we're going to trim off quite a bit. This is bone meal. Gives it a bit of extra nutrients. We're also going to be putting in Miracle-Gro. I've always found that it was a nice nutrient to use. So, yeah. Our potting mix. Okay. Sorry, Esteban. Let's see. Yeah, so all these little spots. What you could do if you wanted to grow a bunch of different clones of the plant is you could propagate the roots for this guy, turn this into a nice couple extra. The thing though, and I really don't know, is how good this plant is. It looks healthy enough, but it could turn out to be a dud, right? So, not that I'm not interested in producing more of these. I just want to see at first how good of a plant it is before maybe considering that. You also want to trim off, like I said, I'm going to bring it up to the rim of this this tire plant. This tire planter. You don't want these leaves hanging on the ground here. They could get wet, they could get rotten. So this vine really is going to be stripped down quite a bit. It's probably in quite a lot of pain. You know, there's that research that says that the plants will like scream out and everything, right? But you gotta do what you gotta do. Been relying on that trellis the whole time to keep it up. I'd kind of rather not use the trellis, if I had to be honest. I'd rather, say, use rope or something, but what I could see happening is that the rope is just going to make it pull this way, right? So perhaps I will use the trellis. And then just when it gets bigger past it, I'll just use something, rope or something. I'll probably find some stakes or something that I can use for it, so. It's just a little plastic trellis, but it seems better than those metal ones that you get, you know, you just find them at Canadian Tire or whatever, just cheap things. They don't, they're flimsy, they'll break easily. I tried to use it around the raspberry bush, and it kind of works, but it's bent out of shape completely. It's kind of just useless at this point. Just not the day for Estaban, really. Well, there we go. We got Estaban planted out. Get rid of some of these leaves here. We do want it to grow a little bit taller still, so I think I will just kind of get rid of these flowers for right now. As much as we do want tomatoes, not this second. Okay, excellent. I'll be back in a second. Just gotta grab a garbage bag. We just got this new bin of Miracle Grow, and I didn't know that it had a hose attachment that you could use to spray, because I was thinking about how nice that would be. I probably would have known if I'd actually read the thing, but just kind of figured it was like the small one where didn't really have any of that. I'm actually not going to use any of this dirt here. It's full of grass. I don't really want that growing into my new bed, because the grass will root, even though I've just torn it up like really badly. That's just how weedy the grass is. Also, I don't need this clayish soil. Some of it's not bad. Some of it's the soil that we've used previous years in the tire, and it's been a pretty good tire, but I think at the moment I can afford to get rid of a little bit. I've also got to get rid of so there's in the next tire there is part of the raspberry bush. Like I said, it's pretty weeded. I think I showed that in the last video. It's come right up inside here, so we're going to want to use this for planting other things, not the raspberry bush. We've got plenty of the raspberry bush. We don't need it in this tire. Even though I have cut off the ends of that, it's still going to try to keep growing back. You can see these branches, they've been trimmed multiple times. It doesn't stop them. At this point, I don't really know what would stop the raspberry bush, so you know, there's that. Just dump a bit of the soil here. We want this to be nice and covered for when, or nice and covered to break it down, basically, right? So me coming through didn't help the process all that much. Alright, so here comes the more fun part. We are dealing with the garden here. I did actually sketch out a plan for this, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, not planting in the new spot quite yet, but I will be probably taking off some of the barbs so that I can do things like plant potatoes, kale, lettuce, etc. When it comes to potatoes, we got these little fingerlings from the farmer's market. They're really nice. They're not as big as the potatoes that we usually grow, but I think they will work out. Essentially, you're gonna wanna like dig deep, and you can probably just like all these little spots here, the growing out protrusions, they're known as eyes. And essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to create these big shoots that come out of the ground and basically produce the leaves. And then some of them, as you can see, some of the, well, I don't know if you can see it, they're really small, but there's roots here and everything. Some of them will shoot off and create branches underground, or tubers underground, that will produce more of these potatoes. I think this is the size of them, not too sure. These might just be like pre-grown, like pre-taken out of the ground before they grew bigger potatoes. Also, but this could be the variety. I don't really know. So, yeah. See the whole garden from here? Oh, I would be kind of out of the way, wouldn't I? I'm gonna put this back on the stoop there. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Here. We got these nice little prongs that can be stuck into the garden mat and kind of keep it down. there's enough light that comes through this that, I mean, I guess apparently grass can kind of grow through here, grass and weeds and whatnot. Not super happy about that, but we've also got neighborhood cats that like to dig into the garden, and we don't want any of that, so that's why we kind of put this here. There's actually a lot more grass and weeds and stuff than I expected, but that's okay. It could be worse, I suppose, at this time of year, because we've already got full lawns and all that. Terrible heat wave that decided to create a bunch of forest fires, but a bunch of plants really did like the heat. It did start the seeds early. Honestly, at this point, we don't know how things will be going on in the future, how our gardens will be growing. I suspect that there won't be a lot of rain, so I want to make sure that I'm on top of it, making sure that I'm watering and everything. I don't have an irrigation system. Would like to get one at one point, but at the moment I'll be hand watering everything, so. So this process is going to be kind of twofold. Basically, dig a deep hole, plop this in the ground after I've cut it so that we've got a couple of different spots for them, because each spot where you have the eyes is spots where the branches can grow. Sorry about the loud bird. So basically, we'll plant those deep in the ground, and then we've got this cute little variety of lettuce, little gem. Haven't tried it yet, but I am excited. I've heard it's a really good lettuce variety. So you bury the potato, you plant this lettuce, and it should, by the time this guy is ready and to be popped out of the ground, is kind of when this should be sprouting its new leaves and everything. So, because this says it's about a 50-day period, we'll see about that. I found with lettuce that it says on the packet 7 to 10 days for germination. In the hydroponic system, I found that it takes 24 hours to germinate. So that's quite a big discrepancy, really. I think what the difference is that, you know, you've got, for the hydroponic system, you've got water, it's constantly like around the seed, not like submerging it, but like around the seed, and then like constant light, and that gives it the ability to germinate early. I'm not gonna bury this very deep. I'm probably just gonna even, like, not necessarily surface sow, but very close to it, because I want that, I want the soil around it so that it can kind of keep it like moist, but sorry about that word, damp, and but not actually be like on the surface where, you know, bugs and birds will get at them, right? So that's my thought process. I've seen it done over in the Epic Gardening channel. Really good channel, by the way. I love watching them. But we'll see if I've learned the sage's wisdom, so to speak. Yeah, so supposedly you can just chop it off, you plant it down, these guys will grow up. Normally, we plant our potatoes on the other side, just before the new spot. And we've been doing that a couple years. We figured it's good practice to kind of change up the bed every once in a while, just because it's not like certain plants require different nutrients, and we don't want them to be taking up all the nutrients in that area. So it's a good idea to just be planting in different spots. By the way, when I talk about this kind of stuff, I've had a bit of years experience, but just like all of you guys, I'm still learning quite a bit. So like, I'm not an expert, right? So if any of you guys have seen something that I'm doing and think there could be a better way, I'd totally love to hear it in the comment section. So go ahead and leave comments about what I'm doing. Or maybe you have questions in the comments and think, why did he say or do a certain thing? And I'll be happy to answer that for you. We had strawberries in here, in these areas for the past few years. They weren't as good of a variety. I think I don't know what was up with them, but I'm hoping to get a new vertical planter, and I think I'll plant strawberries into that, and we'll see how that goes. There is quite a bit of clay in this soil, so I'm sure that's why, like, grass and strawberries and other types of weed plants love it, but I gotta be careful when I'm growing things. If with all this clay, water could just pull up underground and, you know, rot the plant instead of actually providing good nutrients to it. Okay, so this is nice and deep. I can still see quite a bit of clay in here, but there is also a mix of dirt there. I'm gonna put the soil there, covering it, instead of covering it back up with this clay. That's not always a great idea. Oh man, this is really good quality clay. Anyway. I know a bunch of you don't have endless budgets, so seeing me use that much soil is probably a little bit worrisome, right? But potatoes will grow these big tubers, and when I say like a lot of tubers, I mean like one potato could produce probably like 10 to 15, you know, other potatoes, which, you know, then you think about the economics of that and how much you're paying for just one bag of potatoes. I think it is kind of worth it. So we'll see. Just gonna use the finger in the soil method. Poke a few holes here and there. Spread a little bit of this lettuce seed. Not crazy amount, because like I was just saying, it's not like it's overly cheap. And then I'm just going to spread my hand over it, just kind of lightly there. So the nice thing about this being this nice black dirt and clay, and then me putting the soil over, is that I know which spots actually have the potatoes. So, you know, yay me. One nice thing about this garden is, since we've been using it for a few years, there's actually quite a bit of different worms in here, which makes the soil really rich and everything. Not quite a bit of nutrients, but we will be using that Miracle Grow, like I was saying, to kind of amend that. Over the past few years, we hadn't really been fertilizing all that much. We would fertilize like once or twice, and then that would be it for the year, really. But I was thinking about it, and I think that's been the wrong approach. So this year I'll be fertilizing, not heavy, but kinda, for every once a week kind of thing. And then after that, once we start seeing some really good, strong plants, I won't be fertilizing as heavily. I'll be doing like light once or every like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. So, you know, there's that thought. Alright, I think that's deep enough for that one too. Those of you who have grown potatoes or have been wondering about growing potatoes probably come across the idea of mounding. And if you haven't, the idea is basically the potato comes up, you start seeing leaves and everything, and you mound more dirt over top of it. I actually don't know, or at least as far as I've seen, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I honestly, this year at least, I'm not going to mound it all, and we'll see how well that works. Yeah, the thing is, the leaves will be growing that big anyway, but that's also another reason why I've decided to bury them so deep, is that it affords me some of that time to not mound necessarily. So yeah, food for thought. Now I'm just shoveling over, you know, giant piles of dirt. I think since I used so much with the tomato plant and so much with the potatoes, I'm going to have to get a bit more dirt and probably be just using some of this, breaking it up a little bit. But with the rest of the plants, it's not like I'll be burying it like this. and we probably will be making more trips out to the eco station to get more of that compost. Maybe in the next week or so. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on our schedules. It's kind of, as much as I really like doing this and would enjoy to do this more, it's kind of you know, in economics, the trade-offs, right? Like, you have to decide how much your time is worth and what you would prefer to be doing or what you need to be doing. I, of course, am not being paid to do this, so this kind of becomes a side project, just like the greenhouse. I work part-time to pay some of the rent, and then, you know, I split it with my roommate, my mom. And the other time, when I'm not doing that, I'm programming, building artificial intelligence systems, which learning to do that will probably provide me a second income. So, and then, you know, the thought is possibly this channel could also produce a little bit of that for me, but I'm not like holding my breath, you know. I just enjoy doing it. So let's find a nice and big guy here. You know, I'm just gonna plop it in as is. I don't really see many eyes on the bottom here, so I don't think it would really be worth it to be chopping it in half. So there we go. Used the big old bag of dirt for 3 potatoes. I guess the rest of this clay dirt will have to be used for the rest of it, which is not ideal, but whatever. I'll live. So again, just keeping the lettuce on the surface and then just lightly brushing over, and that should be enough. Don't go burying it super deep, and you'll be seeing those lettuce on the surface in a short period of time. They do want to be not like super close to each other, but I don't think it super matters. You can thin or not, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. They'll kind of do that themselves. Survival of the fittest and whatnot. Normally we don't plant flowers, but I think we're gonna plan to do that this year, just so that we can get some pollinators in and maybe beautify the garden a little bit. I didn't think that was so important over the years, but now I'm kind of wondering. It is kind of nice. I just thought, you know, grow the things that we'll eat in the family, and that's it. But kind of enjoy the process anyway of just growing whatever. So we'll be growing some quite new things this year. One of the ones I wanted to try was a plant called a flower called the bleeding heart. I think that'll be pretty. Never grown roses, so I definitely want to do that this year. What else? When it comes to vegetables, I want to try growing dinosaur kale. Never done that. I think that'll be interesting. The we have the bed frame that we'll be using as the trellis. I'm hoping to grow watermelon and peas on that one. So we'll see how that turns out. I think it'll be kind of cool. For those that don't know, watermelon kind of it's a bit of a vining plant. So you can wrap it around the trellis and it will grow upwards. You don't have to grow it directly on the ground, and that'll actually be nicer to keep it from getting attacked by some of those more deadly, diseases and maybe slugs and things. That's something we have to worry about here is slugs. Some of the other types of pests that I've seen in say epic gardening, don't really have to worry about those. Those hornworms, grubs, don't see them here. So, but the slugs are bad. The slugs are really bad. Comment down below what you're planning to grow this year. I'd be excited to know. Is there anything new that you guys are trying, or maybe things that you have been growing or trying to grow in the past that you haven't been successful at, but are hopeful this year? Maybe you found a new technique, you saw online that someone was trying a different way that you've never tried before. Yeah. So I think 5 spots will be enough for this time around. Maybe in August or something we might try some more, but I think at that time it'll be a little too late. So if these are just fingerlings, totally fine with that. It's not the only thing that we eat, but we do eat a lot of potatoes. I can understand when you have limited real estate and limited time and money, to kind of think about only growing the things that your family would eat or whatnot. But I think it's important to step out of your comfort zone, and not only that, but say you grew some vegetables that you weren't necessarily going to eat, but you have a local food bank or something. They don't necessarily say like to give things that are out of your garden, but you could possibly ask your local food bank, like, hey, what could I grow? What things might they want that I could give to? Like, there's a charity called the Mustard Seed Foundation. They give free meals and everything to the homeless and the well-deserving or needing, right? Something like that might be interested in. You go down, you have a bag of potatoes you grew, ask them, hey, would it be possible if I could give these to you guys? Because I didn't want these extra potatoes, or I didn't like this cucumber I grew, but it's turned out really nicely. So, just a thought. Or maybe you're thinking of raising chickens. Your chickens would love some of those extra scraps that you're not going to eat. It's a bit of a process to grow chickens. Raise chickens. We considered doing it, but that might not be quite a this year project. We'll see as we kind of grow in our townhouse. If that's something we're interested in, maybe next year or the year after. It takes about a year process anyway, so we'll see. We'll see how well we're doing. One idea, if you live in a very dry climate, so you cover in all this these holes, the dirt, and then you put over straw or some other type of mulching material, and it can kind of keep that moisture on the surface, allowing your plants to not dry out as easily. We typically don't have to worry about that kind of thing. It's very rainy. This year though, if it becomes like heat wave all summer, we might have to consider a little bit of mulch, and that would be fine. So there we go. Lettuce and potatoes in the spots that we want them. Excuse me, sorry, yeah, but you all saw that was gross. So what I want to do along the fence line is I want to put up that bed trellis right about here, and I think we'll kind of do like every second row or something we'll do watermelons or peas. So looks like a bunch of different types of weeds and grasses remained from the previous year, but we'll try our best to keep on top of the weeding. Might not be the easiest. This might be a strawberry, but we'll do our best. If we're kind of weeding a little bit each day, perhaps that'll kind of keep it down. You don't need to weed the entirety of the garden, just, you know, what you see here and there, right? honestly, the big thing is you don't have to be perfect. Just putting in small amounts of effort every day, you know, 5 to 10 minutes, it's good enough. Oh yeah, I think this will make a nice trellis. Yeah. get a bit more dirt, we'll fill this up a bit more. And honestly, it doesn't have to be perfectly standing up either. It can be kind of just maybe nice, but it can also just be leaning that way, which I think I'll have it do. So this is where I can actually just use the trowel now, because it doesn't make sense for me to try to dig giant holes for these guys. Alright, so we grew fingerling potatoes, little gem lettuce, and now we've planted, it's called heirloom icebox watermelons doll babies. So they're supposed to be like inside, some of them can be yellow and pink, kind of interesting watermelons. Never seen them grown, but I'm kind of excited to see how well they do. So I kind of wanted to do these like striped directional plantings, but now I'm kind of wondering if that's even worth it, just because there's not really a whole bunch of space, you know, but we'll see. I think we'll grow a couple of varieties of carrots this year. We haven't had like the best of luck with carrots, so I think just like the potatoes, just like the lettuce, I might surface sow them a little bit, just because, you know, they are a little harder to grow. We've got purple carrots and these jumbo carrots, scarlet nantes, and they're coreless. You don't really know what that means, but that's kind of exciting, because we can either grow that, or we've also got another variety of nantes. They're not giant apparently, but they are. No, it's okay. We'll grow just 2 varieties of carrots. These ones, it's really important to thin, so always read your packets. Okay. So, since we do want a lot of carrots, perhaps I'll have it right through the middle there. We could do broccoli and carrots together. I think that'd be kind of cool. So maybe we'll do 2 rows of carrots. And a row of broccoli. So Jacques from Jacques in the Garden, he does this little like finger tap method to kind of get those seeds down. I always was preferred just this little handshake, but I don't think it matters too much how you decide to do that, as long as you're kind of just trying to be careful to, you know, space them out a little bit, because things like carrots really do need to be spaced out. They want to grow big, and they don't like to share. It's not like beets where you can just like they'll push each other out of the way. I wish that'd be great. Make things a lot easier. Oh wow! And this has a lot of seeds. Those purple carrots, they just had a few, so they must have been a really good variety. Probably a little expensive too. I don't remember though, but excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see how they grow. So maybe I can be a little bit more liberal with these guys then. Not wasteful, of course, but not like uber concerned how much goes in the ground. Oops. Nice thing about filming this is I don't have to necessarily put little what do you call it? Labels. Although you really should. You really should do that. Just don't have any at the moment. I'm being lazy. So yeah. So do as I say, not as I do. That's the lesson here. Yeah. A couple of different things. I wouldn't mind continuing to try to grow chard in here. Different types of kale. Yeah, I have the dinosaur kale, so that'll be nice. Okay, so kale and broccoli. I don't know if I've tried this variety. It's called Sun King Hybrid. So hopefully that's good. Dinosaur kale I'm excited for. It's supposed to be huge. It's supposed to be a very big plant, so that'll be interesting to see. That's probably, the dinosaur kale should probably be more in the middle, I think. So I guess I'll put the broccoli on this side and the kale on the other side. Sounds like a plan. I'm glad I'm in agreement with myself, you know? The broccoli says a depth of 0.6 centimeters. Don't know. And then it says the seedlings will emerge in 10 to 21 days. Okay, cool. Really, ideally, I would probably seed start these, but don't really have a good spot for them in my house. The cats tend to want to just get at everything, so I can't really be seed starting out there. And the porch doesn't really have enough sunlight to do that, so it is what it is. This one really doesn't have a lot of seeds in it, so I do want to be a bit more careful with them. Stretch that out a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna bury. It says it's supposed to rain this afternoon. Kind of hope it does. You know, just kind of give me that ease of mind that things will stay moist. You know. All right. This guy. Have to thin out the dinosaur kale. And again, I don't know how many seeds are in that packet, so perhaps that'll end up being one that I won't get as much from, which would be too bad. I really do want to have a lot of this guy. Don't know how much I'll eat of the kale, but I'm excited to grow it. Yeah, not a lot in this one either. All right. So put those there. What else should I grow? Oh, right. Supposedly there's peas in here. So there's sugar and peas. I don't know what sugar and peas are. Maybe just regular peas? Says it was peas, pod, eat it all you want. This bush snap pea was selected for its high yield and excellent sweet flavor. Pick when the pods fill out and peas are bright green. Plant multiple sowings to extend the growing season. Okay. That's kind of cool. I personally can't eat peas, but my mom really likes them, so we're gonna grow them. Alright, cool. That was peas. This video has gotten kind of long. I'm going to split it up into multiple parts, so don't worry, you're not going to be watching like a couple hours long video. Especially because it's kind of boring. It's just me planting things in the garden, honestly. Okay. Rainbow trio onions. Typically you would grow the onions like from the bulb. You wouldn't grow it like this. But I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they do from seed, you know? I've never actually seen anyone do that, so Yeah, I do want to grow garlic this year as well, but apparently it's pretty difficult. We'll see. Yeah, so one's there. Since I don't know, I'm not going to grow a lot of it. I'm just going to grow like a little bit in the corner here. And I don't really need a lot of onions anyway, so. But it's kind of cool. It shows there's a pink, white, and orange, red, golden, bronze, and silver skins. So that's kind of interesting. So the 1/4 of an inch deep, so, okay, sure. I think for right, oh, no, actually I did want to grow the chard, like I said, didn't I? Okay. I think the chard will be the last one, at least in this bed. Wanted to grab some strawberries. I don't really know where I might put eggplant, but I think I do also want to grow some eggplant. I think maybe that extra bed might just end up being for flowers, perhaps. We'll see. I've also got the greenhouse that I'm building, right? So I'll be growing things like probably herbs, cucumbers, like a lot of vining plants in there. So, yeah. Okay, chard will go here because, again, this is a bigger one, so I've been trying to grow chard all winter long, really, and it's not been working out super great. Same with like kale, but hopefully it works better in the garden. What I have found interesting about chard is that it some of them are multi-seeded, so you'll actually get like 2 chard plants in one seed. Oops. Well, there we go. So, got some chard planted up. Okay, awesome. The rest of the space will probably be for, like I said, did want to grow some flowers, so I'm going to get some flowers sometime this week. I've got this cool pack of herbs and stuff. I don't think that will go into the main garden. That will go into something else, like the flower box or a new flower box that I'll probably build, so yeah. I don't think you guys need to see me fertilize. Honestly, it's not a big deal. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time on Cold Weather Grows.